Look, the machine is ready to go as soon as I say go. After that, I'm basically
a ghost.
Yeah, a ghost.
Yo, what is good, y'all? It's your boy Elite. Today we're gonna be talking about the Power Book 2 Ghost series finale. And for it being an unplanned season finale, it was pretty good to me. I gotta say, I gotta give it like a 9.5 out of 10, and maybe even a 10 out of 10. And I'm gonna tell y'all why as we break down the episode. Okay, let's get into it. So like I said, it was a really good episode. I know people thought that more main characters would be dying, and I agree, because they did tease that no one was safe, just to only kill Noma and Monet. But you can kind of tell like they definitely expect to come back for a 5th season, so I can't really blame them for not having too many character deaths. So we see all the Tejada kids, and they're being questioned by the police, but they not snitching on Noma because they want to get back themselves from Monet. So of course they not gonna say nothing. Tariq still had Carter, but he was making it real clear that he still had that footage of them killing Zion. And he was acting real smug. But I don't blame him, because Tariq and Brayden, they know that they can't kill him, otherwise the evidence will get out. But then if they let him go, it's like, okay, he's gonna gather up all his little posse, you feel me? He's gonna, come back and arrest them. So either way, it's a lose-lose situation. Tariq, Brayden, and Effie, they find out about Monet's death, and they all kind of really had the same reaction the audience had. Like, they could not believe that she was gone, because like I said before, even I couldn't believe that they had the balls to kill off Monet. That really caught me off guard. So Brayden was mad funny in this scene, because Effie talking about how Ken and the Tejadas gotta be so hurt right now. And he's like, nah, bump dumb, we gotta worry about Noma. And he's right, because they had to keep their eye on the ball, because Noma was the clear and present threat that they didn't have a solution for at the time. And the solution that they did have, Monet, she's gone. So they had to come up with something by themselves, really. Seeing Diana, Drew, and King and the Tejada household without Monet, like, it was pretty interesting, because I'm used to seeing Monet with them, to be honest. Like, they really had to come together this episode. And I know Ken was saying that every time they do something without him, it gets messed up. But I'm glad Drew and Diana kind of checked him on that. Because, like, dude, like, if you went and tried to marry old girls, then none of this would have ever happened, like, in my opinion. Yeah, they probably would have still had to deal with Noma, but things would have just went down very differently. But Ken did admit that, so I can't be too mad at him. And peep how while Drew and Ken was arguing, Diana was the one to pull them together to get them to focus, you feel me? Like, I feel like she's really stepping into the role that Monet wanted for her in a way. Because back in season 1, I believe, like, Monet's big thing was like, oh, how are you ever gonna survive here without me, blah, blah, blah. But as you see, Diana was the one to kind of step into that Monet role to pull the family together. So I think Diana's gonna be fine, to be honest. I think she'll be fine. But yeah, she got Drew and Kane to focus on who the real enemy was. Not no one in the family, but Noma. And I gotta say, I'm really enjoying Diana's development this season, because she's really turning into the new Monet. Because the way she reminded her brothers that they just gotta track down Noma and slide on her. That was just great. It was just a great scene to me. To me, Tariq and Carter had some very intense scenes this season. Like, every scene was just mad great. And them in the warehouse kind of reminded me of that. Because, Carter was trying to push Tariq's buttons by mentioning certain people, by bringing up leverage that he had on Tariq and Brayden. It was just really good. But Carter was definitely wilding, because, he tied up, but he's still trying to say stuff to get under Tariq's skin. But it wasn't until he brought up Tasha that Tariq snapped on him. Like, one thing about Tariq, he does not play about his mother. So, like, I knew that would make him react just a little bit. So while that's going on, Effie and Brayden, they're at Carter's house. They're trying to get dirt on him that they can use. And Brayden had me cracking up for real, because, he's mentioning that Carter, he's obsessed with his dead wife. And then he asked Effie if she thinks that Carter wears his dead wife's clothes on the weekends. And I don't know how long it's been since Denise died, but is it really that unusual for, like, once your significant other dies? Is it really that unusual to keep their stuff? I don't know. What y'all thinking? And the way that Tariq flipped the script on Carter and had him on the defensive, that was mad smooth, because you could tell that Carter did not like it when, you know, Tariq kept bringing up his dead wife and all that. And then Carter tried to get Tariq back on the defensive by saying, oh, that their baby dying spared the world from another degenerate criminal and all of that stuff. And I know folks was a bit surprised when Tariq threw that punch. I was a bit surprised too, but hey, at least we know Tariq could throw a decent punch. I mean, it's a start. And to me, this scene was kind of giving like Snowfall vibes when Franklin also had Teddy tied up in a warehouse. Of course, Carter doesn't have like 6 seasons of development behind him, but it was a good parallel nonetheless. And you can tell as the scene went on, like everything Tariq was saying was finally starting to get to Carter, because that boy was looking a little bit shook. And I gotta give it to Tariq. He really handled Carter being a hostage, you know, like better than any of the other characters would have in his shoes, in my opinion. I couldn't see someone like Drew or Ken or Effie doing what he just did. I couldn't see it. And you know, watching that scene, I was like, okay, like you might have a little bit of your father in you after all, just a bit. And it's kind of funny because Noma's brother has really only been in the country for like, how long has it been? Like 2 episodes, I believe. And you know, he's already seeing more clearly than Noma ever did. Like the Tejadas, you know, the whole little feud and all that, it cost them a lot. She needed to give that up, but she still kept pushing. So I mean, it is what it is. Anya in this scene kind of reminded me of those kids who have immigrant parents that threaten to send them back home to their home country for whatever reason. And a lot of times, those kids that are like Nigerian or whatever, they have never been to their home country, so why would they want to go? Like, for my people watching that have immigrant parents, I know damn well y'all have gotten in trouble before, and you know, your parents have threatened to send you back to their home country to straighten you out, or something like that. You know, they've threatened it. And this is a country either you haven't been to before, or you just don't know that well, something like that, you feel me? Like, I've done heard that way too many times, you know, from my friends' parents that are immigrants. I've done heard it way too much. But yeah, you know, I can't blame Anya for not wanting to go to Nigeria on some mandatory type vibe, because she's never been there. If I'm not mistaken, she's grown up either in London or in the United States her whole life. So why would she want to go there for? So Noma finally admitted she was a drug dealer to her daughter. And I gotta say, I did feel a little bit bad for her in this scene, because she did mention that, you know, the drug game was her family's business before she even knew what her family was into. And I gotta give it to Noma's actress. I believe her name is like Caroline Chickenzie, I believe. You know, if I'm messing up the last name, please forgive me. But you know, she had me feeling a little bit sympathetic for her character, because she talking about, oh, you know, these folks broke into my home as a child. You know, before my brother took me away, she saw what they did to her mother. So she promised herself like she would never be that vulnerable ever again. So that gave us a bit of insight and understanding as to why Noma was so hard and, you know, so hard to reach even for her daughter. And this is one of the only times we ever really see her let her guard down like that. And you can kind of tell when characters have moments like this, they're about to die. But in this case, we got a 2-for-1. And Noma called with it, you know, because she said that Anya's father, Lombardi from season 3, episode 5, died because he, you know, he got in her way. And in my opinion, Noma is just as bad as Monet, if not worse. Like, yo, she's wild, bro. She just be bugging. She be bugging. And Diana is definitely solidifying her position as the new Monet more and more, because she even got her cousins ready to help, you know, slide for Monet. It was a little different seeing Diana in the field like that, you know, she's never really been on no drill like that, nothing like that. But I mean, hey, everyone gotta start at some point, so I ain't mad at it. And I still can't believe they got Dirk Tejada, or, you know, slided with them on the drill. They even gave him that big old gun. But I ain't mad at it, you know, he was handling business, you know, he got Noma soldiers about the way. He was definitely putting in some work. I low-key thought he was about to die at some point, but hey, to my surprise, he did not die, so we might see him again down the line. And I could see why Ken took Anya to ensure that, you know, Noma cannot leave the country, but I also felt a little bad, because she's really an innocent of all of this. Like, just imagine in the original Power, if someone like snatched up Raina, folks would have been sad, because, you know, that would have been very sad to see. So they finally got evidence that Carter killed Kamal Tate, so they finally got leverage over him. And I was kinda right about the stalemate, but it was very temporary, because they took down Carter later in the episode. And I might be alone in this, but Lil Durk's acting in this show was not that bad at all. I honestly would not mind seeing him more like in a substantial role, because he made a good soldier. He was a good soldier. And as many fans predicted, by the end of the season, like, everyone came back together to work as a team to take down Norman and Carter. But considering it was due to Monet's death, it kind of makes sense, because I can't think of no better reason for them, to team back up again. I'm definitely glad that Dru stepped up to help take out Carter, because for a second I thought he was going to betray Tariq, but he really been handling business all season. Like, after Tariq, he was really my favorite character this season. I would not mind seeing him again in some capacity. And I gotta admit, I was definitely a little bit nervous, because Carter's on the way and Dru's trying to delete the file. I'm thinking like, yo, he's cooked, bro. He's cooked. Like, Carter's gonna walk in while the file's still deleting, but luckily it deleted in time. And then Carter was just asking Dru why he was there. And Dru came up with some story about, give me Noma's location, blah blah blah. And Carter's like, you want Noma's location? You gonna have to kill Tariq for me. And this is what made me think like, damn, like, is Dru about to betray Tariq? I was like, nah, no way. But luckily, like I said, he did not repeat his mistakes from last season, and he went a different way. And when I first watched this scene, at first I'm thinking like, okay, Diana, she missed. She didn't mean to do that. But then she told me, oh, now Noma knows how it feels. I'm like, oh, she meant to do that. Because even Kane did not expect his little sister to do something like that. They turned Diana real gangster in his last episode. And again, Caroline, I'm gonna butcher the last name, but I believe it's like Chakenzie, something like that. But Noma's actress, she killed this episode. Great acting from her all around. And where did the Mustang come from that Kane and Diana drove off in? Because like, we've never seen that before. I was definitely wondering that. But then, ultimately, I just chalked it up like they probably stole it or something. And Diana did not care one bit when Tariq was checking her on that. Because he's like, oh, why would you do that? Like, that was not the plan. But she told him, like, until it's your mother that's dead, she did not care about his opinion. So that was definitely some great acting from Mike Rainey and LaToya. They was giving major Ghost and Tasha vibes yet again. And the cherry on top was the look that Tariq gave Diana as she walked away. It just was really giving like, yo, that's the exact same look Ghost used to give Tasha when she was bugging out. Great acting. It was just really good acting. And while they was arguing, you could see Davis. He was just in the cut in the background. And the whole time I know he's just thinking like, yo, I do not get paid enough to deal with this. But of course he played his position very well this episode. He played it well. And then we did hear Effie tell Tariq like, yo, like, whatever else you got going on, I don't want no parts in it for real. Like, she said she's done enough. She's gonna think about her from now on. And to me, this was like the final nail in her coffin. I fully expected her to die sometime within the rest of the episode, but then she didn't. And it's like her ending was like very anticlimactic to me. Like, I don't know. What y'all thinking? Like, cause to me, I felt like they built up throughout the season. Like, okay, Effie's, being very sympathetic. Like, her mother appeared, stuff like that. She's trying to do good. She's trying to get out the game. So I feel like that was just hinting towards her death. But then at the end, she didn't die. So I'm like, damn, like, that's it for Effie? I don't know. Are we going to touch up on this, later on in the video? But let me know what y'all thinking. And at first, I'm thinking, okay, like, Tariq gonna let Carter walk and use him kind of like as a police contact. But I'm glad that they subverted my expectations, because to me, that would have been a big mistake. Because Carter does not seem like the type of person to let Tariq run him like that. He would have been plotting, he would have been scheming until, he figured out a way to get out from under Tariq. And then he would have got his revenge, and that wouldn't have been good for anyone. So I'm glad that they didn't go that route. And in this scene, Carter was like, mixed between Menace to Society and Training Day. Because like what he said, he was like, oh, like, you been effed up, right? So like, if y'all seen that movie, y'all know what I'm talking about. And then he was just kind of giving like Alonzo Harris from Training Day, you feel me? He was like, oh, you know who I am? Like, this city loves me. I'm a hero. Stuff like that. Like, he was just feeling himself way too much. So, Nico arrested Carter, you feel me? And it's like, Carter's not dead. So if he's not dead, that means he can return. Because if you're not dead in power, you can return anytime. They could bring you back a year, 5 years, or whatever. So I do expect to see Carter try to get some kind of revenge on Tariq one day. And the way that Nico arrested Carter was kind of sad to me. Because, okay, like, Tariq set it up mad good. Because he was like, okay, like, in order for us to work together, he talking to Carter at this point. He's like, okay, you gonna pin everything on Nico, like, you know. And he was like, I'll put the cost on that boy myself. And then Nico came out the cut like, wow, that's crazy. Because Nico was like, yo, we was brothers. I would have walked through hell for you. The whole task force would have. But, you know, he out here killing cops, covering it up. Like, he was not rocking with Carter after that. So, you know, Nico slapped them cuffs on that boy and walked him out. And like I said, at some point, I do expect to see Carter try to get some kind of revenge on Tariq. Because they left him alive for a reason. And Noma's brother, I believe his name was like Trinidad or something like that. Again, if I'm mispronouncing the name, please forgive me. But, you know, like, he took all the soldiers with him. He told them, like, yo, if you follow her, she's going to lead you to your death. It's not worth it. And he basically told old girl, like, yo, you on your own, bye. So it's like, I could see why Noma wanted to get revenge on the Tejadas, though, in her defense. Because, you know, they just killed her daughter. So I could definitely see her point of view. And then this scene had me a bit worried. Because Kane having a heart-to-heart moment with his siblings. The cops pull up. He tells them not to worry, that he gonna handle it. And then he, you know, ducks behind the plan or whatever. So I'm thinking like, yo, this man's about to get into a shootout with the police. Like, he's cooked, bro. Because there's like half a dozen officers. So I'm like, nah, he's done for. There's no way he's getting out of this. So, you know, Drew and Diana step forward or whatever. Put down their guns. The police arrest them. And while they're busy doing that, the police step away for a second. And Noma's just looking over everything, whatever. She's just looking over. And then while that's going on, you know, Ken comes over and headshots Noma. But the thing is, you know, the officer is not that far, so they obviously see who it is. You know, they see it's Ken. And that's, you know, half a dozen police officers that he did that in front of. So, you know, they shoot him once, they shoot him twice, whatever. He goes down, he leaking blood. And I'm thinking like, yo, this dude is done for, he's cooked. I'm thinking like, you know, when they go look on the other side of the car, they're gonna see him lying there. But then, you know, they go to look, and that boy's nowhere to be found. Like, they really gave Kane this season some Batman level, like, plot armor. But I'm gonna excuse it because I like the episode. It was a really good episode to me. And yo, like, I know some folks were saying like, yo, Noma turned fat like mad fast. But I mean, she didn't really have no other moves to make. And let's not forget, like, something like this is not out of character for her. Because, you know, Mecca was snitching on her competitors, on her orders. So it's like, I can't really say that this is anything unusual for her. Because as we all saw, like, her brother took away all the soldiers. So she didn't really have no other option. But hey, now Noma's finally reunited with the GOAT on global snitching, Mr. 2 Megs Mecca himself. And the way that Davis saved the whole gang in this scene was just great. Like, he might really be a better lawyer than Proctor from the original Power. Because not only did he get Drew and Diana off from any potential charges, he managed to ensure that the feds will pin everything they suspected on Noma. And that could not have been an easy sell, considering it was Jenny and Blanca sitting across from him. And like, we remember how hot they was for, you know, the Tejadas and Tariq last season. So considering that they went for this now, yo, Davis is really a good lawyer. He's just really mad good. And I gotta admit, this is yet another time that they subverted my expectations in this episode. Cause I'm thinking, you know, Kane's about to leave New York and Effie's gonna be like, oh, come to Cali with me, Kane. You know, we could be together and blah, blah, blah. And spin off this, spin off that, whatever. I'm thinking they're gonna have a show together on some Bonnie and Clyde type vibes. But then, you know, Kane wakes up, you know, some things happen. Effie's like, take this money. You know, you a wanted man in New York. You gotta get out of here. And then, like, I'm like, dang, like, Effie really just gave him, you know, her little Stanford tuition. I'm like, all right, I mean, it's not the ending I wanted for Effie's character, especially given what happened at the end. But I mean, hey, it was heartwarming, you feel me? Because I'm like, dang, like, Kane and Effie really got some feelings for each other. Like, dang, like, they got mad chemistry. I gotta give them that. And I am thinking that eventually we gonna see Kane, you know, pop up in ATL or something. Maybe he gets his own spinoff, maybe. But we gonna talk about that in another video. And speaking of which, let me know what y'all thinking. Maybe I'm bugging, but I kind of said this earlier. Like, honestly, Effie should have died this episode in my opinion. She's kind of been like a non-entity like this entire season. It's kind of felt like she's really more of a plot device than a character sometimes, because you know they've really only had her around when they needed something like hacking into something or something like that, you know. So I mean, I feel like she really could have died, and it would have had like more of an effect on the plot than her being alive. That's just me though. Let me know what y'all thinking. As y'all know, I'm heavily Effie biased. Like, it's FEK to me. Like, I wanted to be smoking on that Effie pack so bad, but hey, I guess she's gonna live, you know. Maybe we gonna see her pop up in another show. I don't know, we gonna see. And then we seeing Drew, and he going to Paris for his art, so that means he most likely would have been written out in the next season anyways. Like, say, you know, Book 2 got a 5th season, he probably would not have been in it. Also, this was some mad slick foreshadowing, but I know y'all peeped the way Diana was kind of standing over Monet's seat at the table. This really confirmed it. Like, Diana is really about to become the new Monet. She even talked about like building the business back up and everything. And if you would have told me like back in season 1, the same Diana who was making like dumb moves and just being kind of immature, that she'd be turned into this, I would have never believed it. But hey, here we are. Now, this was one of the most interesting scenes of the entire show in my opinion, because Tariq finally came to a realization that I did not expect him to. And like, he told his moms, you know, he gonna be taking the family out of Witsec, what makes sense, because Tommy's no longer after her, and all his enemies are either gone or currently incapacitated. But then, you know, she thinking they all going home and they gonna be together. But he was like, nah, like, he's still gonna be in the game, but he needs to keep his family safe. And it was heartwarming, because like, he telling his moms like, she not gonna have to work, Yasmin gonna go to a good school, she gonna have a good life and have a great future, all that. And you know, like, that's really what I feel like every child more or less wants for their parents, you know. Like, I don't know. Let me know what y'all thinking. But I feel like a lot of sons, that's what they really want for their mothers for real. So it was good to see that Tariq was able to provide that for his family. But does anyone know where Estelle is, Big Mama? Like, where'd she go? Is she dead? Like, what happened to her? But yeah, to me, ultimately, this was some good character progression that Tariq desperately needed. Because now he knows, like, you can't have a family and be in the game, at least not at this stage in his life. Because that's a mistake that his father made, thinking that he could have it both ways. Like, be a family man and a gangster. Like, and he saw it did not work for Ghost. So, like, he's kind of more self-aware. Like, he realizes, like, okay, I'm not going to make the same mistake that my father made. Now he can really say that, I will admit. Now he can really say that. And just to reiterate, this may be my internal bias about the character showing, but the way that Tariq accepted Effie back into the business just like that, I don't know, that's not sitting right with me. Like, in my eyes, if I was Tariq, she still gotta go. Like, she gotta catch a hot one and soon. But in his defense, I will say, I suppose it was a good business move to keep her around, because Tariq doesn't really know anyone that can manage all the business at the Ivy League schools how she could, and you know, and do it well. So I mean, I suppose it's just strictly business, and I'm just glad that, you know, Tariq and Effie did not get back together like a lot of people were hoping and a lot of people predicted. Like, there was even some people saying like, oh yeah, they seen the leaks, blah blah blah, Tariq and Effie got back together. Like, nah, that's whack. Nah. And as we predicted, Tariq and Brayden didn't really fall out like that. Like, there's no bad blood between them. It's just that Tariq realized he needs to be the one in charge. So that's why he told Brayden, like, alright, like, we not partners no more. Like, right now you working for me. But, you know, if you want to go do your own thing, that's on you. You could go ahead. And at first, I'm thinking Brayden gonna be like, nah, like, I ain't feeling that. If we not partners, I'm out. But then, you know, he was upset about it, but he kind of accepted it. So I'm thinking Brayden will kind of be like the unspoken lieutenant that Tommy had with Ghost. Because, like, I know Ghost and Tommy were partners in a manner of speaking, but Ghost was really the shot caller. So to me, he was above Tommy in the first 2 seasons. So, like, yeah, I feel like that's more or less the dynamic that Tariq and Brayden have right now. Like, if we were to ever see them again, I kind of feel like that's how it'd play out. And I do like how Brayden, he's taking over the fight clubs. He's not going back to school after all. And he's probably going to have his own crew there too, like move weight and stuff. But I just really expected him to like completely split from Tariq. And I don't blame Tariq for saying like we can't be partners no more. Because like Brayden with the whole drug problem, that's a big liability. And like, you know, drug addicts, they don't kick their habit just like that. That's an ongoing struggle. So I can't blame for Tariq for saying like, nah, like if we gonna be working together, you gonna be working for me. Yeah, like I can't blame him for that, not at all. Now Noma's brother Trinidad, and now that's Tariq's new connect. And while I'm surprised that he's willing to work with Tariq considering everything that happened, it makes sense because like Tariq really already has a network throughout most of the city. Like Tariq got the schools, the fight clubs, and the parties on lock. And now considering there's no Noma, no Zion, the Tejada family, they're fractured. Like, I ain't saying the streets is deserted, because streets don't stop for nobody. Like, someone dies, there's always someone stepping up to take their place. But I do think there's a bit of a vacancy, and Tariq could fill that if he wanted to. Like, I do feel like eventually, he'll kind of have like the kind of organization that his father did. You know, he's gonna be serving to all 5 boroughs, in my opinion. That's what I think. And lastly, I know y'all seen the clip that they played during the ending credits, which by the way, I'm assuming was recorded after the season was filmed. But you know, make sure you want to look up for another video from us, because we gonna cover that potential Tommy and Tariq crossover in another video. But yeah, it's really a bittersweet ending, because my first Power show like that I've seen was Book 2. I seen a few episodes of that, and then once I realized it was a part of like a bigger universe, I went back to go watch the original. So you know, it's gonna be sad seeing my boy Tariq not have no show no more, you feel me? I'm glad he's on top and all, but like dang, like a 5th season would have been good. I have to say, it would have been good. But it is what it is. We got Raising Kanan coming in December. I'm assuming BMF is after that, and then Force. You know, they really gonna make us wait for Force now. But hey, bottom line, we definitely have more Power content coming. And this really might not be the end of Tariq's character. We gonna have to wait and see on that. We probably gonna discuss that in another video. But in the meantime, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you like, comment, subscribe down below. Let me know what y'all thinking. Did y'all enjoy this series finale? Are y'all glad the show's over? Y'all gonna miss it? Let me know what y'all thinking. But until next time, I'm gonna catch y'all later. Peace.